Hey there. Some of you guys are already commenting in the chat, which is awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. This is webinar 2 for me this week. I'm excited to have a co-host for this one because it's a lot of talking. So I was pretty sore. My throat was pretty sore from the other day. But this one we're super excited about. Tersh and I have done this talk. How many times do you think, Tersh?
Oh, man. That is a good question. Probably 5 times. This exact one.
Yeah.
Well, not this exact one, because things change up constantly because the technology changes constantly.
Yeah, it feels like we're constantly tweaking this. So we've done this a couple times when we have talks scheduled at BDR Spark in January, AHR Expo in February, and EGIA. So, and this is we're going to be constantly updating this. So if you guys go to any of those events, make sure to check out our in-persons, and then we can get deeper into tools and stuff, because these tools are developing extraordinarily fast.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get started, we want to understand who is here with us live today. So if you could do a couple things. First of all, put your primary trade or primary business industry that you're in the chat, just so we know who's here, and we can kind of take some of our examples and maybe portray them into your industry. That would be great.
If you if you don't work for or own an HVAC or plumbing company, but you do marketing or something like that, put in the chat what you serve, what trade it is, or businesses you serve. I know we have a couple of friends of ours who, like Matthew, that are going to be here with us, and he's in insurance. But one of the values that he's found with the Automation Foundation platform that the community, is helping to build out some automations for the insurance world, which has been a really cool.
Yeah, love it. Got Erica Lenore. How are you doing, Erica? Yeah. HVAC, Tom Murphy, we've had on the podcast before. Hey, Tom.
Yeah. And a little birdie told me, let me know that a handful of team members with Colleen's team are here, and I want to give you all a shout out. So that's going to be, go back and tell her all good things about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want the inside scoop, DM us.
Yeah, DM us.
Awesome. One more thing before we get into the content here, I would love to know if the ones that, if you guys that are paying attention here, if you're using an AI tool or an automation tool that you really love, put it in the chat. And the reason for that, I want to put that in there, is so that way, because there's so many tools out there, and if a tool is giving you a ton of value, we'd love for it to be shared amongst the community here, so that way everyone can kind of learn from each other and see if it's something that may fit their business.
Yeah.
So if you guys just put that in the chat on the side, and then that way you guys can see that.
That being said, Josh, what's the most recent AI tool that you used?
My most recent is actually one I don't even have it in the presentation here, but I was gonna show the one that I've been nerding out on. I've been sending Tersh like a bunch of Loom videos about, because I think it's cool.
I had it pulled up right now on one of my screens.
Yeah. Bolt.new. We'll talk. I will show you guys at the you got to stick with us to the very end. Sorry, I'm going to put you on a cliffhanger there. But you got to stick with us to the end or watch the replay. And it'll be at the very end. We'll talk about it and what the capabilities are, because we have so many different people in different industries and stuff here, I think you guys are going to find a tremendous amount of use cases for you. But we'll get into that just a little bit later.
Cool. All right. You ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it. So to get started, we're obviously going to show you guys what are you going to leave this presentation with, because that's the most important thing. That's the reason you guys are spending time with us, which we definitely don't take for granted, because we know your time is valuable. So most importantly, you're going to walk away with a clear path forward. I think that's most important for anyone that watches a webinar. Is you don't just watch a webinar to be sold something, you want to learn something. And then this presentation is also going to be, it's designed to also help people that are in the beginning stages. They want to learn more about AI and automation, or those that already are very familiar and want to get the next step in their journey. We're going to give you 6 of our favorite tools. It's actually a few more. We've added a few that we love. So we're going to have some bonus tools as well. That's going to be at the very end. And a guide for your AI and automation journey, and a place and some resources that you can ask questions and talk openly about this stuff with other entrepreneurs that are excited about this stuff and see the potential in the technology. And we talked about the community.
Yeah. So next up, let's get started with what's your biggest challenge with your client journey today? We're going to be talking about client journey and the experience that comes along with using AI and automation in that client journey and improving it. But in the chat, if you wouldn't mind, while we're moving on, just put in there your biggest challenge that you're facing right now with a consistent client journey.
Sorry if I'm looking off screen, it's because I'm watching the comments. I don't have a big enough screen to put everything on one place. So it's a little different than doing it in person where people can kind of just shout things out.
Thanks for letting us know about that, because I didn't even know that was playing back there.
I can't hear any background music.
I didn't. I see it though. I turned it off.
Okay, so Dustin's got marketing as his biggest challenge in client journey. Lynn mentioned timely engagement. That's a great one. That's definitely something that we're going to be talking about here today. So appreciate you guys chiming in the chat there. All right. So I'm assuming, hoping, thinking that you guys at least know a little bit about us. We got a lot of companies, got a lot of things we're working on. We love the trades and we love everything about it. We love the people. I got a few funny little notes about Tersh. So this is something I'm really hoping takes off. And I gave this tip or this little fun fact about him on stage for the first time in Tennessee. But you guys all know that he dresses like this every single day. So to me, it kind of reminds me of The Godfather. But he's in podcasting, and he was one of the first podcast people that most of you guys know. So I would love it if you guys, anytime that you see Tersh, call him the Podfather. Just do that for me. That would make me really happy. And I think Tersh will get a kick out of it. And feel free to use a hashtag Podfather anytime you want when you're talking to Tersh. Yeah. So that's just a fun little fact about him. And he literally does dress this way every single day, except for yesterday.
I was going to say, we had a meeting to bring that up.
We had a meeting to prepare for this, and he had an oversized Rudolph onesie on. So it's like the one time he hasn't dressed in a suit, believe it or not.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce you to Joshua Crouch. If you don't know who he is, he does not play the catcher's position for the Savannah Bananas, or he does not play baseball. Well, I don't know if he plays baseball. He's not famous for that anyways. But little known fact, he's actually significantly older than I am. And he was a mechanic in the Air Force. But now he's not allowed to hang pictures in his house. So that's a story for a different time.
That's why I'm in digital marketing.
Yeah. He's also the founder and CEO. Is that your title, CEO? Of a massively successful digital marketing agency that I'm proud and to be around on a daily basis. And an AI and automation agency. Forget about that.
Yeah.
But
we got a few things going on. So
yeah, one or two.
All right. So one last thing that we're going to ask of you before we jump into the content is we want to begin with the end in mind. We want you to write down the one thing that you're hoping to get out of this presentation. Obviously, since we're virtual, please put it in the chat so we can try to make sure by the end of this, you get what you came for. And even if it's just an idea, a strategy, maybe it's something that's a burning thing that you really need to fix in your business and you think AI and automation can help. We want to know what those things are.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie, thank you for getting Tersh that onesie. That was great. And hopefully the 41 people on here are paying attention and thinking hard. Learn about AI. Thank you, Dustin. Education. Thank you, Taylor.
All right, Josh, you want to get us started on the...
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Oh man, when was the best time to learn about AI, to start playing with AI?
Are you asking me?
I am.
When it came out, I wish I would have, when ChatGPT's announcement came out, it was almost exactly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We started playing with this thing and I'm like, what? I just like didn't really fully understand it. And then it took time. Like I was like, yeah, it's just a thing. And it's going to be a fad. And well, clearly 2 years later, it is not.
I was actually asked this the other day on a webinar, why I am so in tune with AI and automation, but AI in general. And I'm really surprised because I'm not normally the person that will jump onto AI as fast as I did, and like, or new things as fast as I did onto AI. And it really surprised me that I was like, okay, yeah, let me try that, but I'm glad that I did, because it's morphed and changed a lot along the way.
Yeah, it really has. And obviously the second best time is today. So, don't worry. Obviously, if you don't know much about it yet, you are behind, but that is okay, because we have built communities and resources to help you guys get caught up and really focus on the things that are specific to you. There's so much tools. There's so much noise about this stuff. It's really hard to know who to listen to, who to pay attention to, who's getting paid on the back end for some affiliate tool or something. So we're here to help you, because all of these things we either test in Tersh's business or my business, or we just test because we like testing stuff. So we have firsthand knowledge of all of the things that we're going to share with you today.
With that being said, really quick, Josh, I want to interrupt you for a second there, and just I want to give a short backstory of myself for those who are listening or watching in on this, and you're not familiar with me. One of I was an adult diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia. I started the podcast because of having a speech impediment. So I want you to understand that some of the things that we're going to talk about, they may feel like overwhelming. When you see all this stuff being thrown at you, AI this, AI that, don't let it overwhelm you, and don't let it, it's the best way to say this. Anybody can do this. We've taught my 11-year-old son knows how to do this. We'll go into a little story about that. But I just want to make sure we're very upfront with, don't let it overwhelm you. And we are here to guide you through this journey. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah. So we want to start by talking about the changing landscape. It says the changing landscape of home services, but honestly, this is every business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. This has to do with everybody. And you guys, most of you, unless you're very young, probably won't, you may not even know what this is if you're really young, but this is the way we used to communicate with each other. And technology is changing. It's continuing to change so fast. Some of you guys will start recognizing a few of these slides and how things have transpired over the years. This like first personal computer, the first cell phone that you literally had to have these massive antennas and stuff for.
You remember the ones with the bag phone that we used to carry around?
Yep.
Swap it from vehicle to vehicle.
The first Zoom call, which of course was not a Zoom call when it was a show, but you guys get the idea. Zoom calls are literally take up I'm sure most of your guys' day, at least every day. Yeah. We have Zoom calls back to back. And of course, now we're at the point where we have a place where we can train a brain on our business and help it answer questions and save time for ourselves. So some of the biggest problems and the newest things that have really come to the forefront from a consumer standpoint, and we've seen this a lot with the trades, with COVID and everything else, is online booking. Customers demanding faster response times. They don't want to talk on the phone. Mm-hmm. They don't want to answer the phone when we call them. Memberships completely rule our life, from everything from I would love to hear how many subscriptions you guys think you have in your life, because I know I have a ton with Netflix and Paramount and the gym and everything else. Memberships rule our life. Oops, I'm sorry. Didn't realize my mouse would do that. And then, of course, inflation and the rise of everything that we know as far as costs go. So there's a demand for businesses to be more operationally efficient in order to keep up with the current times.
Absolutely. So the modern customer journey, what the modern customer wants is they want to be able to book online. They want to be able to, they don't want to necessarily have to talk on the phone. When they do talk on the phone, they want answers quickly. They want to be able to, someone to pick up the phone quickly. And there are times where, and this is a controversial statement that I'm going to make here. The AI agents are coming. They're here, or I said they're not coming. They're here, and they're going to be here for a long time unless some sort of legal action happens or something like that. And that we're already seeing things that are regulating the AI voice calls, which thankfully they are, because I know y'all experienced it like I experienced it through the election season, where you're getting hit with phone calls and text messages all day long, and most of them are AI conversations, which blows my mind that it wasn't illegal for them to do that, but it's illegal for us as contractors to do it. But the millennial is the newest, I mean, the largest age group of homeowners now in our country, which is kind of mind blowing, honestly. And if
us millennials grew up fast, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah, you're old. Look at you. You got gray hair everywhere, bald, arthritis. No, I'm just kidding. Majority of your millennials, they would prefer a text message. You know, text, book online. I know that you've told stories before about Brittany, your wife, not wanting to book an appointment with anybody if they don't do it online, and that having the ability to send a text message into a text thread to book your next appointment. I mean, those things are game changers. And if you're not doing that, you're aside from AI, you're behind the 8 ball on that.
Yeah, and Brittany's a perfect example, because she literally tells me she'll look when she's the one that always books contractors and people come up to her house for different stuff, and she will look, first of all, if they have online booking. Otherwise, she's going back to try to find someone who does, and then or texting. She doesn't want to call, and I don't blame her. I don't really like calling either. The favorite business that I frequent regularly is a business called Stretch Labs, just assisted stretching. Helps loosen up, especially been working out a lot more lately.
And you're getting old.
And getting old, so it helps loosen up the sore joints and everything else. But they text me to book appointments. I never get a phone call from them. I get a text once a week to book my next appointment, and it works out fantastic. I love it. So I'm in that. Tersh, I think you're technically classified as a millennial. You are. So
yeah,
to be clear, Tersh is actually older than I am by like a year and a half, regardless of whether he looks like it or not. But so we're both in that the old millennial age group. We're like the first millennials, if you will. So this is speaking to us as well, because high school was like when cell phones became more of a norm for us. It's not now, kids and stuff grow up with that, but it's changing. The demographic is changing. And with that, we have to adhere to what they want to see if we want to succeed. So what are the pain points in the traditional process of how we've done business? I would say one of the biggest ones right now is phone calls, because contractors love phone calls. And I hear this all the time. I want more calls. I want more calls. I want more calls. The problem is contractors, businesses in general, they don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
And we have some data that over tens of thousands of calls through Relentless Digital over the last year, on average, contractors miss 15% of their calls. And then of the ones that are qualified leads, they only book, and maybe Erica, you can chime in, and Lynn, I know you're on the call as well. You can probably verify this, but most people think their booking rates are super high on the phone because they think their CSRs are doing a great job, or their numbers are just, we'll call it massaged in their CRM to make them look better than they really are. I can promise you, and Doug Wyatt probably knows this as well, your booking rate's not 85% most likely. It's
Yeah.
more, it's a lot lower of your actual bookable leads. And our numbers show somewhere between 50 and 55% for most contractors. Our top performers are closer to 70%. And that's really very good. And those companies are also getting a fantastic ROI on all of their marketing spend. So these traditional pain points are something that really is a struggle. And one of the biggest struggles is after hours and weekends and handling those calls, because answering services, when it's June or July, if you're in the HVAC industry and it's hot, well, it's hot everywhere. And that means the demand is crazy. And if everybody has that demand and everybody has answering services, that means everyone's overwhelmed. And there are things, Tersh has implemented something in his business, which you can go into, as what's helped him. And we just talked to Tyson yesterday, actually.
Yep. Yeah. So I use, pardon me, I use Avoca, which is a voice assistant, a voice agent. And every time we get an after hours call, she picks up the phone with the first ring. And it's very consistent.
What's the name of your agent? You called her she.
Sarah. Sorry. Yes. Sarah is her name. And she's very human sounding. It's wild how often the amount of improvements it's made in the, I don't know, 8 months that we've been using it. It's because there used to be a lot of latency. They would fill that in with typing sounds in the background and stuff like that. And a lot of that stuff is gone now because it's a consistent conversation. There was a period of time where I was testing them out. Like I was testing out all of them that I could find. And as soon as you started talking, they would stop, or there would be some talking over by mistake. And it wasn't a very human-like conversation. And that's gone now. It's wild how much has changed with that. But one thing that if you didn't catch the live stream that we did yesterday with Tyson, he's one of the founders of Avoca. I challenge you to go back and listen to that, because one of the things that he made a really, really good point about is that you can't hand off AI completely. You can't hand it off to AI 100%. You still need the human element. They have a human element in there that actually, if the person's like, I don't want to talk to an AI agent, and hangs up immediately, they immediately call back with a human and have a conversation with them, because there are some people who they're just not ready to make the leap to AI yet, fully AI. But I will tell you that in the past and I've tried out multiple call centers and we got wrong names. Like they were saying that it was the wrong company. They sound like they just woke up. They were yawning constantly in the conversation, not asking the correct questions. And it was just terrible experience for us. And like Josh said, as soon as everybody got busy, the call center was busy as well. And so it was not uncommon to see a 3-minute hold time, 4-minute hold time.
Yeah.
And
which you guys all know. I mean, we talked about what consumers want today. They do not, I don't think anybody here loves sitting on hold. And especially if you're on hold for a minute or two, you're like, is this person ever going to pick up, or am I just on this endless hold cycle?
Right.
And that goes into other pain points in the traditional process. Having to have a human, an inside salesperson, a sales rep follow up with leads. We all know people get busy. Contractors, especially when there's demand time. I'm going to use HVAC as an example because that's the primary businesses that Tersh and I have been in the last couple decades. But having someone follow up and continuously follow up, that is a chore as a person. And that is not an exciting chore. Not a lot of people like doing outbounding, as some of the people on this call probably know. So this is where these technologies can really bridge a gap and not replace the humans, but do some of the work that humans either are not great at, don't like to do, and fill some of the gaps, so that way you can sell more, you can provide a better experience for your customers, you can make sure that you close more of the business that is already in your pipeline, which in turn is going to make your marketing spend look that much better. These are all things that are huge opportunities for you. Some of it is AI, but one thing that Tersh and I talk about a lot is AI is the buzzword, and it's been the buzzword, but what a lot of people really need is some sort of meshing of AI and automation. And that's really the piece that I think some people overlook is like, yeah, I can go to ChatGPT, I can do all this stuff, but then what does it connect to? How does it do the next thing for me? And that's also some things that we're going to talk about here.
Yeah. And Joe in the comment section asked if they allow a human to step in into the call. And yes, that is allowed. They do have the ability to do that. This slide here, we actually were talking a little bit about on the last one. The technologies address the pain points in the customer journey and examples of some AI driven tools that enhance the customer experience and operational efficiency. One of the things that we use a lot of AI for is to help the customer experience is the use of AI for instant responses on certain things so here's the thing. Anything that you do more than 3 times in a week, it needs to be automated. And if you can automate it and use AI at the same time to do the little things, obviously you can't set it and forget it. That's with automation, that's with AI and everything. There still needs to be some checks and balances. So like Lynn Wise mentions in the comment thread that they saw a 30 to 40% abandon rate in the busy season with conversational AI. So follow up has to be part of the workflow. And I agree 100% on that. What you need to do is have some sort of way to have the notification instantly as soon as your call is hung up and the call wasn't booked and it should have been booked. These are examples of where you can use AI because it analyzes the phone call. It says, hey, that call should have been booked. Here's the reason why it wasn't booked. Reach out to them and book the call. And so that's just one example of several for use case scenarios there.
Yeah. And I think knowing your tech stack and what the capabilities are is another thing. I think there are some CRMs that are in the home services space, for instance, that we cannot customize automations for. So that means we cannot make it talk to another software and make it do something. Slack and other like Trello, ClickUp, Asana are getting very popular tools for all businesses, whether you're in a digital space like mine or you're in an office setting for communication. But if you're still using like a group text message thread for certain things, you can't automate different things. Like let's say 5-star reviews. You want 5-star reviews for the team to know so that you can celebrate. Like this morning, literally, I had every Thursday morning, I have a prompt that goes through and sets a message up to our team channel of essentially it's a message that shout out someone that's followed this core value, and we name the core values and we rotate them. And literally this morning, I'll probably make a screen recording of it later. Like everyone's just loving on each other this morning, which is so cool to see. But it also creates culture too, because even honestly, before we had remote businesses like Relentless Digital, we had remote businesses like trades businesses. These guys would get dispatched from home. They wouldn't come to the office every single day. Not every business like that, but Tersh literally, even before COVID, started his business with the whole purpose of not having a physical office where everybody came into all the time. So he's relied on things like automation to do check-ins, to just make sure the pulse of the team is good, to send them weather updates so they knew what was coming and what the weather was going to be, all kinds of things. And these are things that also can help your culture.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I got this really cool automation that I've built out. I've been building it out, and I won't mention who it's for because I didn't ask her beforehand. It just came to my mind. But literally, they have a goal set for each week at how many sold hours to have. So they want, I'll just say 10. They want 10 sold hours for the week for each technician. And we built an automation that pulls the information from Service Titan and then sends out a text message and a Slack message DM to them saying, hey, you have sold this many hours, or you've completed this many sold hours this week. You have this many left, and then, but here's the kicker. We have ChatGPT writing the message. And so the message is customized to each person a little bit different. So their personality type. So like some people like a little fun message. And so they're getting more of a fun motivational message every morning at 7:30. Other ones just like it, shoot me straight. Like, I got 3 more hours to sell, or I have a half an hour to sell, or something like that. And so then once they reach that 10 sold hours, or whatever their sold hours is, I'm not going to disclose it, their pay jumps up like $10 an hour. And so it just keeps them reminded automatically every single morning and gives them a little bit of motivation. So it's a mixture of the AI and the automation to go to the Slack message and the text message every single morning.
Or if you want to annoy one of your best friends, you use AI and automation to send them dad jokes in Slack every single day. I will not tell you who did that.
It was me.
But he's on this call.
It was me. I did it.
So there are some fun things to, especially even like your family, we're getting into some different stuff that maybe we didn't have planned on this, but you can do fun things like that with your family too, to keep them engaged, especially as they get older. We've Tersh, Julie, Brittany, and I all have teenagers now. So they start growing their own lives. So it's nice to stay in touch with certain things. But there's a lot of cool stuff you can do too. Not that's just work related.
Josh, really quick, what do you call a funny mountain?
I'll let someone in the chat answer that.
All right, I'll let y'all ponder on it for a second.
Is this the one that came through today? Because I was actually looking.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
No, that was why don't skeletons ever go trick or treating?
Oh, why is that?
So if anyone thinks they know the answer to that, put that in the chat. That'll be a fun little exercise for you guys to stew on. So how do we enhance customer engagement? And I think this is something that I don't know if some of you guys know what a Melissa data report is, or if you guys have taken and done like a full avatar exercise of who your customer is. But because we can train these large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, and others, Gemini, we can train them on different things. If we give them enough information about who our customer is and what they like and what they don't like and what their persona is, we can really craft some detailed marketing messages, follow-ups, and really speak to them without having to always come up with the ideas ourselves. I know I use these tools as a brainstorming model. Like, I'll give you an example for this webinar, coming up with ways to engage you guys in chat. And it gave me like a list of 15. Of course, I'm not going to use every single thing, but it helps with the brainstorming, which sometimes is the hardest part, because as a business owner or a manager or someone that is very high up and cares about what they do every day, you are busy. Mm-hmm. Every single one of you guys, I'm guessing, is very busy. You feel like your hair is on fire sometimes.
I wish I had hair to be on fire.
My beard's on fire. I don't know where you go next for that. Oh, actually, CJ, your answer was pretty good. They don't have the stomach for it. That's not the exact answer I got, but yeah, that was pretty good. But this stuff can really help. And if you guys know, like, this gets much deeper into marketing psychology, but everyone wants to rank on Google. When people go to Google, and I know some of you guys probably will say, "Oh, I don't use Google anymore." I understand that. We're not going to get into that quite.
I don't use Google anymore.
The bottom 3% of people that are ready to buy go to these search engines with the intent of finding a provider. That means we have a ton of people that are in this, mostly like there's like 65% of consumers who are in what marketers call the messy middle. The messy middle is social media, blogs, video content, emails. They're in that, I don't know if I need to buy, maybe I'm not ready for it, or I'm not ready for my next service yet, or I'm investigating my options because maybe I want a different provider. That is your place. And this is a perfect example, a webinar, video content. Some of you guys have known, like Tersh and I with Service Business Mastery. You guys probably, if you're in Facebook and some of the social circles, you probably see our stuff pretty regularly. That's by design. It's because we're trying to talk to whoever we want our customer to be. And that's the kind of stuff that AI tools help with. We're going to share an AI tool here shortly that helps us facilitate all of the different content that goes out. So that way we can come up with ideas and things that are really valuable and do it very, very, very quickly and save a lot of time.
Yeah. Josh, you can run to the next slide and I'll actually talk about that a little bit. One of the pieces of content that we use to repurpose content and save time is a program called Cast Magic. And actually, I didn't think about this, but we actually have all these listed on our website. So you don't have to like actually take notes. I'll give you the link to all of these tools that we use on a regular basis. But Cast Magic, actually, you upload all of your video into or podcast episode, whatever, into Cast Magic, and it can create instantly. It'll take it and transcribe your content, create 10 different titles. It'll create 10 different slugs for your URL.
It'll create all the social media posts, including with hashtags.
Yep.
A blog. It literally, you can give it all kinds of things, and you can create your own. They have like prepackaged ones that come out of the box.
Sure.
And then Tersh has created several custom ones for stuff for us for like
podcast
episodes, short clips.
We do a Twitter thread. So it creates a series of 15 different threads that are related to that podcast episode. And it's easy for us to say podcast episodes. And I know as a contractor, I'll listen to a webinar of a marketing agency or a podcast and say, oh yeah, it's easy for a marketing agency. That's easy for a podcast to do this with this content. But what about me? Because like I fix stuff. Like I'm not making podcasts all day that I can repurpose. Well, here's the thing that you do. You do something that's very interesting to a lot of people if you just record it. Just record what you're doing. You're fixing. It can be a time lapse of a system change out. There's tons of them. Roger,
I love watching those videos. I don't even know what you guys are doing, but I love watching them.
Yeah, Josh is like a deer in the headlights. He doesn't have a clue, but he just loves watching them. It is one of those things where you can take this clip and then create 10 different episodes, and then you would just test them against each other or put them all out there and see how they do. I am not Jen McKee with Keyheart Marketing is a TikTok expert. I'm a TikTok expert consumer, but not a.
Yes, he's also a TikTok expert at sending me videos I don't want to watch.
Yeah, I do.
He does it all the time.
But if you use Cast Magic to get the scripts, you can get scripts to make more videos out of it. Like but you would use actually, CJ beat me to the point. Opus Clip is what I was getting ready to say. You can literally put it into Opus Clip, and it will give you. It could give you 100 different videos, shorts to put out there, and it'll rank them off of their virality. It gives you a score like 1 to 100.
Yeah, and Tersh, I want to add something. I actually did this in my presentation on Tuesday. There's a section on Google. You guys are probably familiar with this. It's called People Also Ask. It is essentially like search engines giving you tips of like, hey, just like the browser. If you guys start typing in a browser and you notice that it like tries to fill out your sentence with other things, that's what people are searching for. So going to like the People Also Ask section, or using a tool like Also Asked, that's asked.com. They have like 3 free searches a day. Put in something that you're interested in talking about. It will spit out literally hundreds of questions or other keywords or things that you can talk about. You can then either record them, just get a setup, a quick mic. Tersh and I can ask or answer any questions about getting a quick setup, get a webcam. Pretend somebody is interviewing you and asking you the question, and just record the answer. It can be a 3 to 5 minute clip, and just use that. It can be that simple. You do not need all the fancy stuff. Like some of our videos got some extra editing stuff. You can grow into that. Yeah. You do not need to do that right now, but these tools can help you really honestly, you can ask ChatGPT. Like if you gave a marketing app or an avatar, tell me what, shoot, there was a tool that like named them, gave them like those names that are like really easy to remember, like Sassy Susan and stuff like that. But
oh yeah,
where you can have like an avatar.
Data? I feel like that was in Melissa data.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but and have asked a question and say, hey, based on these avatars, what are their primary concerns and what would be their questions? And then create content for that. That content can then be repurposed, not only just regular videos on social, but like in your email follow-up or in your pre-selling before you go out on site. Give them a predisposition of why they should hire you, because you have all the information and you already know their concerns and you're already going to answer them before you even step foot in the home. It's such a powerful way to pre-sell your company, which not enough people do. So just, there's a lot of use cases for this stuff. And I think hopefully some of these tips have helped you guys so far.
Really fast. David Bammer asked, how do these stand up against GPTs? And I'll be honest with you, it really depends on how good you are with GPTs. If you're building a custom GPT, you can update that a lot faster than say Cast Magic is going to do an update. So there are things where I've found that Cast Magic feels like it's been a couple months since they've done an update on a particular section, like their language model, because OpenAI is updating things so fast. Like they just announced today that they updated O1, so now it's like mainstream. It can be used. You can upload documents to O1 now. So if you're good at doing custom GPTs, then yeah, it's going to be a custom GPT will be a much better use case scenario. But if you're not, if you would rather just take your video and throw it into a program, Cast Magic is definitely a great one to use for that use case scenario.
So the question is, how do we start piecing things together to streamline our businesses and our operations? And obviously, you have to have a tech stack that can do some of these things. Now, some prefer more of an all-in-one, which would probably be Service Titan. With all-in-one, like Service Titan, Salesforce, and some of these other ones, comes a very hefty price tag. That's not for everybody. Most of the other CRMs in our space, you can connect and do all sorts of things. A lot of people just don't know what the options are. House Call Pro, for example, if you're on the Max version of House Call Pro, you have access to hundreds of data points that you can take something and make it do something else. So customer books appointment. I can start, let's say they book an appointment that's an estimate. I start pre-selling them a couple days before their appointment with emails, what to expect on the appointment, start really showing the value, send a nice picture. Some of the CRMs do this already, but if you don't have something like that, these types of things are great touch points. Once you get to the job, obviously having a nice proposal software, but then doing the follow-up. As soon as the job is closed, we're asking for feedback and a review. We're putting them in a pipeline so that way our inside sales team or just our follow-up processes don't lose them. We are following up with them regularly with either emails, text messages, and or voice calls. Once we sell the job, doing all of the different things that come along with that setting, like what are the warranties? Here's your paperwork. Here's what you need to know before our team installs your new piece of equipment. Here's how to get your house ready with put away your dogs and cats and all, just there's so many things that you can do in this process. If you lay it out on a piece of paper, write it out. Or if you don't want to if you don't like using paper anymore, write it out on something digital, but write out what you want to have happen. That's one of the biggest things. Tersh and I ask people questions all the time. Like they talk to us about AI and automation. We ask, well, what do you want to automate?
I don't know.
And then we get deer in headlights, blank stare. I have no idea.
But we've all been there too. We've been there too. So we don't feel bad if that's you.
Think about something that you, a team member, a coworker, that they do manually, that maybe they complain about, or it's just like, oh, I gotta go do that thing. Or maybe it's replying to reviews. That's a big one. Like Relentless Digital replies to thousands of reviews a month. And we have one person that oversees it, but we do not have a single person that actually does the review replies. We've created prompts. And if you guys want, reach out to us afterwards. We have a free AI review reply template that we can give you. But
Andrew actually asked in the comment section there, can we walk through a simple automation in GPT and how to build it out? So if we have time at the very end,
do you want to do that at the end?
Yeah.
Through that
I'll walk through.
Because then I got to share. I can share this. I can share the screen in the workflow, Andrew.
Perfect.
So just stick with us till the end. We're getting close, so it won't be too much longer.
All right. Future proofing your business, preparing for the future of AI. It's not too late. Honestly, like I said earlier on, like the best time to start, this is the same thing. Like if you want a shade tree, was the best time to plant it 30 years ago. But the second best time is now. The importance of staying ahead of technological trends is it's very tough right now. I don't know, maybe I feel jaded because there's a lot of programs out there that are like, this is an AI program and this is an AI program. It's not an AI program. It's just got a little touch of AI in it. And so because AI is a buzzword, you just be careful with that. And as a business owner, we are putting out fires all day long. And so it's not easy to spend time researching these things constantly. That's why Josh and I we are a resource for you. We don't charge anything to have a conversation with you or anything like that. We love this stuff. And so we get newsletters on a daily basis. Well, I think I'm up to like 5 AI newsletters a day, every single day. And I actually build an automation out so that I don't have to read all those emails. I get a digest, a daily digest, of all of the emails, because a lot of them will have the same content across several of them. And I don't want to waste my time rereading that. So it just sends me a digest of the new stuff that's coming out for inside those newsletters. And so like, that's just another use case scenario of AI reviews. I mean, AI and automation use. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't allow this to overwhelm you. But don't stick your head in the sand at the same time. Is that the best way to say that, Josh?
Yeah. I mean, personally, and it's something we've done with our team, I think you should be having conversations with your team if you're not already on this technology, because
absolutely,
whether you know it or not, they're using it.
Yes. So, and if you, sorry to cut you off, Josh, but this is something that I know that you're passionate about too. And I don't want to skip over this. If someone is using it on your team, like I would challenge you not to reprimand them on it. Like if anything, pat on the back, good job, because you're building efficiencies. But please, for the sake of everything holy, do not allow anyone to send an email that says, I hope you've been doing well. I hope you've been well. Because we all know.
I think it's, I hope this email finds you well.
That's it. Hope the email finds you well. Justin asked what app it sends the digest. I actually use Zapier for this, for the AI. This is Zapier, and that's what we're going to show you at the end is Zapier as well, connected with OpenAI.
Yeah.
But keep going, Josh.
Yeah, real quick. So the next slide, we're going to get into our tools. So right before we get into our favorite tools and talk about those for just a second, a couple things. So obviously there's team upgrades for Claude and ChatGPT. However, ones that we've heard really good things about, I have subscriptions to them. I don't have a lot of personal experience, but askroi.com and what was the other one, Tersh, that we heard at Nextstar that a lot of people were using? Is like Magic.
Oh yeah. Magi. Yeah.
So, and the reason I bring those up is because if you're going to have these conversations with your team members, you're obviously going to probably want to put some controls in place as far as where that information goes, who can see it, especially if you're putting in financial data or SOPs or anything that is trademarked to you and your business. Those programs are built for teams. They're built for business, but they're built to be a closed loop. So that way this information does not go to the public knowledge base of ChatGPT or Claude or any of these other LLM providers. So those are the things I would start having the conversation, because I promise you the innovation and being open about these things is always better than hiding it, hoping that nobody, oh, I don't want my team members to get too smart or too efficient or whatever. Like, be open about it.
And have the conversation with them also about the fact that unless this isn't the case with you, you don't have any intentions of replacing them with AI. Like, I'm not trying to replace my CSRs with a CSR, AI agent. I want to make the AI agents better, make them a better person, help them use it.
Yeah, just put the tool up on the top. Joe, thank you for commenting. It's Magi. We'll get into some of these other questions, just so you guys know. We will go back to some of these questions that we've overlooked. But next, I know I'm super excited. This is my favorite part, and Tersh and I nerd out on this stuff, is the tools. So we're gonna show the tools. We have some bonus tools, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about how if we've used them for our business, how it's helped us as well, so you guys can understand. Like, we use all of these things. These aren't just willy-nilly tools that we threw up here because we heard good things. These are all tools that we use in our business. So
when Josh says that we use these tools, it's not we use these tools on a sporadic basis. Like, we have majority of these all open all day long, and we're using them.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
I feel like I need a little drum roll. I mean, some of you, yeah. Anyways, all right. So we'll start. We'll go left to right, top to bottom. Thanks, Tersh. I'm going to start with Who Hire, because that's one that we use all the time. We have a couple positions open right now. Back earlier this year, I was ready to hire an HR manager, someone probably $75,000 to $100,000 a year annually in salary, because hiring is a bear. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. Who Hire is fantastic. What it is essentially is I'm just lost the term that they use. It's like an applicant tracking system, ATS.
ATS.
So it's like a CRM for hiring. And what it does, it's really built for the trades, but we've used it for our business and kind of modified it a little bit. But it allows you to get so much information about your hires. They use a combination of AI and all of these different assessments too, to kind of understand flight risk, their personality type, and some other things. But we set it up in one way. So we have a resume. They have some yes, no questions that we set up. So like immediate disqualifiers. As soon as somebody is disqualified, it automatically sends them an email at a predetermined time. So let's say simple question, are you legally authorized to work in the U.S.? They say no. In 3 hours, it will send them a email automatically. I don't have to do anything. Nobody has to touch anything. Then we go to, you can do like long form text questions. Then you can go to like one-way video interview. Then you can decide if you want to do something else, or you can get to like an online or in-person interview. All of these things really just take you to put thumbs up or thumbs down, just like you would on a Netflix show. Do you like it? Candidate moves on. If not, they get a rejection email or text message. And it has saved us dozens of hours at this point. And for the cost, I don't know what the cost is now. They raised the price a little bit, but it is fantastic. I would highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you're in the trades. But even if you're not in the trades, it works very well for us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next, I'll talk about Rilla really fast, and I won't go long-winded like Josh does, because I'm considerate of your time. No, I'm just kidding. The Rilla is it's a virtual ride along. I mean, so you're able to ride along with technicians, multiple technicians, and at the same time. And so we use it in our business. It's actually.
Can you talk about the story, like the customer that you had?
Yeah. So
talk about that story instead of not necessarily just the ride along stuff.
Yeah. So we actually have we had a situation where a client called in, a potential client called in to the office, and they had just moved into the house, and they wanted to have their systems serviced, and they had like 6 systems in this home, and which is not common in our area. 2 systems max really is the most systems you're going to have in a house, and this house had 6 of them. And they asked, hey, can you replace the 4-inch media filters for free on this visit? And we're like, no, we'll more than happy to swap them out if you have them on site, but we're not going to like provide them for free on this tune-up special that we were running at the time. And so the technician heard that call because the phone call was recorded. The incoming phone call with the CSR was recorded. And then the technician, while on site, was approached by the homeowner, and the homeowner told him that the office said that we would provide them for free. Well, the technician already knew because he had listened to the phone call that that's not the case. And so he was like, look, that's really not how we do things. If you'd like, you could call and speak with the manager and work something out. But until I hear from them, then I just can't do it. And he was very patient. He was way more patient than I would be. And then this lady had the audacity to call back to the office after the technician had left the next day or 2 days later. And she said, you know, the technician said that you would provide me with these filters, but he never sent them to me. And we were like, what? That does not sound anything like we would ever say. Like, sure, we have like random one-off situations where we do some weird things, but that just doesn't sound right. So before I even asked the technician, I just skimmed through Rillo. And Rillo is one of those things where I don't overly observe this thing ever. Like I wanted to make sure that the technicians knew that this was not Big Brother coming. This is a training platform for them. And so when I skimmed through it, I caught the spot where she kept asking him over and over again, and he was extremely patient and repeatedly said, "Not going to happen, no, ma'am." And I was like, the audacity of this person. And so I call her back. Actually, was it me or Julie? I can't remember. It's been like 6 months now, but we called her back and said, "Hey, look, we have the recording of the conversation." Now, beforehand, we told these, like, it's part of our the phone call. Whenever the pre thing, what's it called? Whenever you call the office, like it says
the pre-report call.
Yeah, it's all interactions with Service Emperor could be recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. And so we told her that, and then we were like, "Hey, look, we listened to the recording, and repeatedly he said that wasn't the case." She dropped it instantly, and I was like, what in the
well, think about how many times that happened. I've had that happen where customers are trying to get, and I have to call the tech, and I'm like, what's the truth? And then you have to go back to the customer. It's just this, like, he said, she said. Now we have just like dash cams in vehicles, right? Like, I know some people hate them, but when people get in accidents or fender benders and they realize it's not their fault because they have it on camera, it changes everything. So technology is, I would use it in the right way. I would not sit there and analyze every single person's call, because then you are going to have a lot of employees that hate you. But this tool can be really valuable. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the next two tools here, the AI phone call analysis. PhoneTap is something that Tersh and I are developing, and Lace is also a great option if you are a little bit larger company and have 3 or more CSRs. Yep. The call center is a huge, huge place to get additional opportunity from. Leads are already coming into your business. They're just being either mishandled for certain reasons, and some of them could be a service, something that the CSR can't take care of, like maybe waiving a service fee, or maybe you're not staffed properly enough. But you can know what those issues are and have data points immediately. And then with like what we're doing with PhoneTap is try to make these things actionable, where let's say a qualified lead is not booked because of a pricing objection. We can automate something to an internal Slack notification, or an email, or a push notification, or whatever type of notification that is best for your business. So that way somebody can get on the phone immediately and try to save that opportunity and have some lead recovery. So
and it's not a 30-minute, 45-minute, nothing like that. We're
within
using
5 minutes.
Yeah, we're using AI to get all of this stuff transcribed, analyzed, sentiment analysis, all that instantly, and then also classifying the call. Was it a bookable call? Yes. No. Now you have
take out the guesswork.
Yeah, you have a realistic, non-emotional based classification of the service, of the incoming call.
Yeah. The next few, you guys, we've already talked about Evoca. Zapier is essentially a software bridge tool. It takes data from one software, moves it to another, and makes it do something else.
There's other platforms out there as well that's like make.com, if this then that. They operate like Zapier as well. Andrew, yes, this is PhoneTap.
That's exactly why we built it, Andrew, because it sucks to do it manually. I have an entire team that tags calls for our clients, and this is where the idea was really born from, was like,
Yep.
man, if this could be actionable, because our data, by the time we manually tag thousands of calls, it's 5 to 7 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we could do this instantly and save money and get more, just get more opportunity from what's already, squeeze more juice out of the lemon, if you will.
And
so
also coach your CSRs like, hey, this call was bookable. This is the reason why it wasn't booked, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we won't go into that anymore. It's not a sales pitch for anything that we have.
Yeah, it's just, these are options for you guys. These are some bonus tools. We talked about Cast Magic. Bullseye Pro is something that Relentless Digital has created. It's marketing automation. We do layer AI in with that as well. Think about any way that you can follow up with customers. That's what we have built with this. Feel free to reach out if you guys want more information. We could go into a lot more tools. I will give you one more. It's an in-person tool. It's not a digital tool, but I don't know if you guys can actually see this. Tersh actually turned me on to this. And actually he's wearing the watch right now.
Oh yeah.
This is called Plaud, Plaud. So a lot of you guys, especially if you handle a lot of phone calls and you can't quite remember what happened, because like Tersh he's told the story on the podcast a couple times. The one day he got like 130 phone calls from his text.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So essentially it's an in-person device. So you're having a conversation, a networking meeting, a business meeting. You're going to do some training. You can turn this thing on, set it on the table. It will create a transcription, and then it creates a mind map of all of the conversation topics and an AI summary of everything that was talked about. So when Tersh and I go to business networking events, I was at a marketing agency event. I put this on hit record, put it on the table. So now I have notes. I don't have to sit there and write and try to remember what the heck was said. And then I can reference it at any point in time. You can also share it with team members, colleagues, friends. So just really cool stuff. We have that also. It's listed on our website if you want to get information on it.
I added the link in the chat. That marketplace there, that's not us selling anything. Those are just mainly the things that we talk about here. And we just an easy place to locate them all. But Plaud is on there as well.
Yeah. So we're going to get to your questions here in just a second. So just like kind of a recap of everything is when you are looking and analyzing platforms, I think with AI especially, it's important to talk to other people and really lean on the industry you're in and the people you know, or people that know the technology, because you don't know where the information is going. We had someone that worked with us. I was using a tool for EOS that he had some information that this was getting to the dark web. Like,
yeah,
there's so much stuff out there that we don't understand and don't have the time to understand as business owners and entrepreneurs. So talk to people that ask for references, talk to people who've used the tool, make sure you have a chance to demo or trial these things. And then make sure that they have the ability to bridge to other software tools. That is really the power of everything, is when one software can talk to 3 other softwares and take this thing, move it to the second step, which moves it to the next step and moves it to the next one. That is what's ultimately going to really save you time, and it's going to massively boost the efficiency of your business.
Yeah. So really fast, I was actually typing out a response to Dave, but I will announce. I'll just say it out loud to everyone in case you're not on the webinar itself. Dave asked, "What's the advantage of the Plaud device over using an app that turns your phone into something similar?" I actually questioned the exact same thing. I seen it for the very first time on TikTok, and I am a glutton for punishment, and I will buy things off of TikTok. But that was one that I was like, hard no, I'm not buying this off of TikTok. I'm not buying this, period. I was really challenged with the thought of like, why don't I just record this on my phone? This is it. The searchability aspect of it. After getting one, I got one and I tried it. I got Josh one immediately after I got mine. I immediately ordered Josh one because I was like, this could be a game changer. We literally, like, I keep my phone with me all the time, but what I can do is, like, people are having a conversation. I don't mean this in a sneaky way at all. I just thought about that when I said it out loud, but I can walk away from the conversation and leave my Plaud device with them obviously notifying them, hey, I'm leaving this with you, so don't talk crap about me as I'm walking away, because I have to say that to Josh whenever I walk away. But I literally you can walk away, come back, the conversation is instantly transcribed with the AI content, recommendations. It does an AI follow-up, and then the mind map is a really cool feature as well. And there's tons of other features that are coming out of it. Like I said earlier, if you're really good at your GPTs and you know how to use even like Sonics, that's a transcription platform. We use assembly.ai for transcriptions as well. If you're really good at that kind of stuff, then by all means try those things out. This is just a kind of a shortcut hack of doing all those things. So because it's just instantly and it's there. Yep. And like this right here, I wear it with me all the time. And I just hold it down and then it just vibrates. And then I'm all right, we're recording. And
well, you think about, because otherwise you're pulling your pocket. If maybe it's, a lot of use cases, but honestly, like I just took it off my phone and put it on the middle of the desk because we were doing a networking thing going around the table, and it got everybody's answers and it got me a ton of information that I could bring back to my business. I'm sure there's an app that can do that, but honestly, I don't know, something about it. It honestly being on my phone like this reminds me that it's there because I touch it and see it all the time. And how many apps on your phone do you have that you never use? I have a lot. So before we're going to get into questions here next, but I just want to real quickly, the QR code on here is our Automation Foundations community. It is a paid community because we want to make sure that people who are in this community are serious about learning, growing, asking questions, engaging. It's $97 a month. You can have, if you want to have your team members, your entire team in there, you're more than welcome to for the same fee. It's not, we're not charging per user, per member, or anything like that. We meet once a month right now. Most likely we'll probably ramp that up even more in the coming year once Tersh and I figure out our schedules. But it's like
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, the first Friday of every month, we meet. We go over your questions, tools, latest and greatest. If you're stuck on something, you bring it to the meeting and we talk about it openly. And then if there's something afterwards that you need help with, we'll create screen share videos of how to do it or how I would do this or that, which has been really immensely helpful, I think, for our members. And then, of course, any developments that we have, we share that stuff as well. Yep. So feel free to scan that if you guys are interested. Other than that, let's go back through some questions. We did okay staying on time, right? Not too bad.
Yeah. Especially since we answered some questions along the way as well.
Yeah. So, Joe, I think this was in relation to Who Hire.
Yeah, that's Who Hire.
So yes, they have what's called a Reggie assessment. It is something that I can't remember the gal's name that works with Jonathan Porter, is one of the partners. Did a lot of studying on.
She's a personality scientist, data scientist. She's really
something
smart.
Like that, where she's been studying this stuff for a really long time and puts together an assessment, and it helps you understand like flight risk, if they're the right fit for that specific role based on personality and stuff like that too. Very, very useful stuff. So I would definitely at least do a demo with them and check it out. What did
Brittany correct you.
What did I
Blueprint.
say? I said
you said
Blueprint.
Yeah, you didn't say Blueprint, did you?
I don't know. Brittany, get off. David asked a question a little bit ago. Can you talk about using all these separate tools versus just adapting to all the Google Lab tools if you use Google in your business? Tersh, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, the Google Lab tools. That's the Google Suite, the G Suite.
Yeah, because obviously they're layering AI into all of those tools.
Yeah, so the challenge that I have with anything Google related is the Gemini changes too often for me. Everything about it changes. I can't see myself. I hate it when I can't see myself talking.
I did that on purpose, so we don't have to look at your face.
Whatever. Yeah. So Google, actually, the G Suite is the easiest one to integrate with. Microsoft Office is far more difficult to do any integrations with. But if you're starting out and you're doing automations, especially with Zapier, it's mind blowing the things that you can automate, and you can build AI like on a spreadsheet. You can put ChatGPT into one line, like one cell, so that it's a if this then that type scenario. Like if you put in a word in here, then the prompt's already pre-built, and then it spits out the answer to the question, or to the reply to the response into the next cell. So
and I would add to her. So honestly, I'm not a big fan of all-in-one tools, because all-in-one tools they're a jack of all trades and really a master of none.
Yeah.
Where specific tools, like for instance, for our daughter's 14th birthday on November 19th, I used Suno, S-U-N-O, to create a birthday song for her. I'm sure Gemini, I'm sure some of these other tools could do fine with that, but it's not an app that has been specifically created for that particular thing. And it produced a fantastic, I literally gave it just a couple bits of information about her. It produced a fun song that we're all laughing to, and I was able to share with some family members and stuff. That's my problem with it, is I get it. There's a lot of tools and it can be overwhelming. I think the biggest thing to consider, what specific problems are you experiencing, and find specific things for that first. Now, if you have a tool that also can do that, maybe look into that, but understanding and looking inwards of like, if I solve this one thing, this would make a big difference in my business. I think that's the way to look at it, and then work outwards, because if you get integrated like Tersh and I with tools, you can get, like Tersh sends me, like gotten to the point where like Tersh and I send each other tools and we kind of ignore each other because like, yeah, okay, I'll look into that at some point, but it's not right now because there's already too much going on.
I want to see how long Josh is actually going to use the tool before I start looking into learning how to use it. Which is a great segue into the last tool that you said you would talk about, but you haven't brought up yet. I point that way because I have it on a different monitor that's sitting over there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to find the Google some of the AI review reply stuff so I can go over that quickly, because that was
oh, I got it open right here. I can share it on my
okay. We have to stop sharing the screen so that way if anyone wants to just check this out, because this might produce other ideas for you as well, as far as sharing these reviews with team members and kind of creating an entire reputation system for yourself. And this is something that, not to keep bringing up the community, we teach our community members how to do this. We have videos of exactly what to do, how to do it, what prompt to use and stuff like that. So if you want to be a part of that, that's a really easy, great way to do it, because we can get that stuff to you pretty quickly.
So I have a very, very complicated one, and I have a very, very simple one. This is the simple one. And I actually have another one that's got just like a handful more slides in it, or zaps inside of it. But basically the way that it works is you have your review that's coming in here from Google, and then it sends a prompt over here to, we have a prompt that's created here, and then I have it set up so that for mine, because I know the personality of this, I'm okay with it doing a 1-star reviews. I know Josh is the one that has pre-built. It doesn't respond to 3 or below.
4. It responds to 4 and 5.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of 2 and 3-star reviews, so I don't really worry about those too much. But the 1-star, we usually have clients reply to those themselves because we don't know the details.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point. So this one here, it's, as you can see, the prompt here, and then I have it set up so that it actually sends an email to me instantly with the response that it gave from ChatGPT, and then it has a link down here to where the review is located. So if I didn't like the response that it gave, then I can click that link really fast and change it, and then it sends the same thing over to Google.
Yeah. So some of these weren't questions. These are going back to like some things that you wanted to get out of today. CJ, this is a great one for you to reach out to me specifically, because we have a massive like 20-step zap for Relentless Digital. When a proposal gets signed and exactly what happens, Google Drive folders get created, team gets alerted, onboarding stuff gets kicked off, a welcome email gets sent. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens from one trigger. So get with me separately on this. And if anyone else wants, like, I'm happy to just kind of like do a walkthrough video, because obviously your tool set and tech stack is going to be a little different, but this is a huge one. And honestly, it's just the customer communication. Think about it. As soon as someone buys from you, imagine if you didn't respond to them until like the 2 days later, be like, oh, thanks for buying that install. We're going to get you scheduled. Like the customer experience is just poor. Mm-hmm. This is where the AI and automation can really enhance what you do. And it can also make gathering information super easy for your team. Mm-hmm. So that way you guys can perform better.
Yes, sir.
Trying to look through. We got a lot of comments. Really appreciate you guys.
Josh, can you find that? Can you look up the build.new? Sorry.
Oh, yes, I can.
This is one of the rabbit holes that Josh.
Thank you for reminding me. So this is the one cool thing that I've been working on that really wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you guys what I built for contractors, but also just to like explain it to you and how it works. So that way you can build cool stuff yourself.
Any idea that you have like about literally anything? It's the wildest tool that I've seen in a minute.
Yeah. Let me present. It says stop screen. Let me, okay.
CJ, you asked about the AI note taker. Fathom video will do exactly what you're asking for.
All right. So let me actually go into Bolt.new first to give you some context. So Bolt.new is an AI tool that you essentially talk to, and it does the coding for you. Now, I've tried some more complex stuff. It's not great at really complex stuff. Like you still need a developer for some of this, but what I wanted to do is, we're in marketing. So I wanted to create some tools like a gross profit calculator. So I had a client that he struggles with duct replacement jobs in Florida. And I'm like, man, I want to create a calculator for this guy just to like help him out, make it really simple, easy. He puts his materials, his labor time, his hourly wages, a couple other things, and what margin he wants to hit. And it immediately spits something out. Now, this used to be able to be done with formulas and spreadsheets and stuff like that, but now these are just simple, literally like as soon as you start putting data in, you can start to get outputs. You can also put this stuff on subdomains. Like I have this gross profit calculator on Relentless Digital's website. So if you're a contractor, think about a SEER calculator. You guys have the ones like that Lennox is built and stuff like that. Like maybe it's cost savings. Maybe you can layer in something with cost savings and financing. So that way, what does their actual monthly payment look like if they're saving $40 a month and they're paying $100 in financing? Things like that. There's a lot of ideas. One of the ones that Tersh thought was pretty cool, which I thought was pretty cool too, is this contractor growth platform one. Can you guys see this, Tersh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. We can see it.
So the goal of this was we all do, and if you don't, you should do year-end planning, is understanding numbers about our business. And then based on, let's say we want to grow 50% next year or 30% or whatever the number is, what does that mean for our business? So I have some numbers in here as just like a regular, like a $1 million company that's at 50% gross profit, 12.5% net. So realistic numbers. What their marketing spend is, their average ticket, all of these things to understand where we have some issues in our funnel. So from number of calls to number of leads, from those leads to booking appointments, from booked appointments to sold jobs. And those numbers also portray down here near the bottom so we can understand how many leads we need. So I want to highlight, I'm just going to do something real quick. So I want
Josh, real fast. Can you zoom in on that or blow up your thing?
How's that?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Okay. So just look at the month of January, and I haven't touched any of these numbers, but let's say we have a $500 average ticket value. So in order to get our target next year of 90,000, we need to have 480 leads based on this call booking rate and this close rate. So this is just to help you understand the importance of focusing in on operational aspects. But if we take our booking rate to 60%, all of a sudden we need 80 less leads per month. And our marketing spend doesn't need to be as high. If we took that to 70%, all of a sudden our marketing spend is lower, so on and so forth. If our average ticket, let's say we either raised our prices or we just sold more at each stop and we raised it to $1,000, all of a sudden we need about half as many leads and our marketing budget is cut nearly in half as well. So this is something that's, excuse the, when you launch these on bolt.new, this is the initial URL. You have to put it on your own. You have to know some stuff about DNS records or some other complicated stuff, but it's very easy compared to the old way of doing it. Mm-hmm. But this tool allows you to build whatever you want. And what's really cool, I haven't quite perfected it yet, is you can also layer in something to give you an analysis of whatever the tool you're building is. So like this for the company, it's not clean. So this is the part I'm working on cleaning up. Tell me what I need to do to grow based on these numbers. Tell me what, profitability, operational efficiency. You can put whatever you want in here, but you can build an own AI business coach or an AI analysis section inside the tool, which I think is really, really super cool. So hopefully you guys get some value from that. Bolt.new is free. You just have to have a GitHub login, which just sign up for it. Don't worry about what it is and what it does, because you're going to go down a rabbit hole. But it's very cool. It can do all kinds of really cool things. So you let your imagination fly with this. Just type in what you think you want and then just start perfecting. I've probably gone back and forth with this tool 25, 30 times to get what I want here. And I just leave it open on my thing, and then I'll come back to it and I'll be like, oh, I want to do this now. I want to tweak this, test that. It's very cool though. It takes your ideas and brings them to life.
Well, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you have any questions, like put them in the chat, and we'll answer them real fast. Otherwise, all this recording will be available to you, I think, pretty much as soon as we get done. It should email you a version of this, a copy of this. You're welcome to come hang out with us tomorrow in the Automation Foundation monthly meeting. We didn't talk about this earlier. It's 14 days free anyways, so perfect timing to try it out and see what it's like tomorrow. But yeah, Josh, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, last comment. Dustin, Joe, just reach out to me personally. I'll get you the link to play with that.
Yeah, and I mean, we could put it as a subdomain somewhere, but
yeah,
we'll let everybody know.
The goal will be on our website. We just didn't have enough time to get there that far, so we will get that to you guys and put it on our resources tab and everything else, so you guys can. And honestly, as new ideas come up, Tersh and I are going to be building cool. Like, we can build stuff really fast now, which is really exciting, because we hear from people all the time with challenges, and sometimes it's just hard to help people. And now we can help them really quick, easy, for free, or really cheap. So we're super excited. Dustin, I'll get your email from the StreamYard thing and reach out to you. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
You guys.
I was reading.
Have a great day, everyone.
The struggle with dyslexia is it takes a long time to read. So I appreciate y'all.
ADHD kicking in.
That is too. All right. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all there.
See you guys.